Hi everyone, welcome to Makers by Rishihood. I know you're not used to seeing me. There was Sahil here last week, but then we realized I need to make a camera presence, otherwise my salary is not going to be justified. So my name is Snigdha. I'll be your host for today's Shark Tank Bite, and we have some really cool guests coming in, helping to dissect us कि ये धंधा actually में चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा.
Hey guys, my name is Vasudev Murthy. I am the director of the School of Entrepreneurship at Rishihood University, and I want you. So get in touch with me because I plan to take you and put you right there in Shark Tank. Contact me on Instagram and on LinkedIn. See you soon.
Hi, my name is Ajay Gupta. I am here with the education background of mine. We are into education since last 2 decades. We have chain of play schools named Bachpan. We have chain of formal schools, Academic Heights Public School, and also I am co-founder of Rishihood University.
Thank you so much for making time to join us for this Shark Tank Digest bit that we do here at Rishihood University. Both of you come with years of experience of having been in the education sector as well as the business sector. And in today's times, I think disruptions are happening in both of these ecosystems, right? So there's this new entrepreneurship trend that has come up, and children from the age of 16 onwards, I've seen, are engaging in it. So what are your thoughts, sir, starting with this, and how has this taken over India at today's time?
I am little disagree कि ये disruption अभी हो रहा है. हम भारतीय तो पिछले 300 सालों से मतलब शायद हमारे तो blood में DNA है.
Correct.
We taught the world of how to do business. Export was probably the first thing which we loved. So I think कि new generation का ये अधिकार है कि वो आए और ये काम करें. हाँ, market is little more apt for them. Situations are little more comfortable. Sharks are there to invest in your businesses.
I think a beautiful point that you brought up for us, sir. Any thoughts that you would like to add?
The point of us being fundamentally business oriented is a great point.
Right.
And if you go to wherever the Indian diaspora has been, Snigdha, you'll find in every country in the world, we are particularly known for a business acumen. Whether it's South Africa, whether it's the US, we have this knack. I don't know at what level it has gone to us, but we just do it instinctively.
One of the points that Ajay sir brought up, the culture and the history of India being tied with business, I think that's something we beautifully saw across 2 startups this week in the form of Kalakaram, where we had DIY kits coming up to also help with creative involvement for children. And then there was the other startup called the Rooftop, where the attempt was to create a wholesome ecosystem for all art lovers and revive Indian forms of art, right? So what are your thoughts about these tradition-based startups that came up this week?
So I think it's a fantastic plus. It's just a great thing. Now, why does this happen? I think oftentimes it happens because from a pure Maslow's hierarchy, if you remember what was that? Once we are basically satisfied with, we have the acumen to survive, we move to higher thoughts of education, of art and culture and so on. That's definitely a trend we're seeing all over the country. People are willing to start businesses in music, dance, art, etc., etc. So it's not a hobby. It's something where you can actually be profitable. You can actually address the creative needs of people is what I'm saying. I think that's a very good sign.
But बहुत सारी और चीज़ों को भी ना we need to be taken care parallelly. Really. Those DIY and other things can make a good business.
Yeah.
While you are in Shark Tank now, so you are not there to promote heritage and culture. You are not there to bring the essence of the India onto platform. But you have to be there for business also. So I'll request my fellow coming up investors to take care of the business sense also.
Fair enough.
I think, sir, just to add to this, right, I think this was very beautifully put, and the exact difference between a Kalakaram and the Rooftop startup that came. So Kalakaram at least came with a viable business model, and the Sharks could understand the need for that market. Whereas I think with Rooftop, that is exactly what happened, right? That they could not find their exact market fit or what kind of a service or product they are building. So I think, taking it a little bit from here, I think both the startups that came in the food space, Zorko and the pizzeria chain, both of them came with a very aggressive expansion strategy that they wanted to open a lot of outlets. And interestingly, neither of them left with a funding. What do you think happened in that time, sir?
दोनों ही startup doesn't come up with a very great idea. Already that space is very, very tied up.
It's a very competitive space according to you.
यहाँ पे ना मैं दीपेंद्र जी की एक बात को बताना चाहूँगा जो मेरे लिए इस पूरे वीक की सबसे बड़ी लर्निंग थी, वो थी कि आपको ना कब ईगो रखनी है और कब ईगो छोड़नी है, किसके लिए ईगो रखनी है और किसके लिए ईगो छोड़नी है, और कितनी ईगो रखनी है और कितनी ईगो नहीं रखनी है.
So how do you think the balance works out for an entrepreneur, especially someone who's trying to get into this space at a very, very young age?
Well, I think at a young age, enthusiasm overpowers rationality.
Right.
I would imagine. You think your idea will sell by itself. And this is, by the way, a problem with people with the engineering mindset. We think the product should speak for itself. Well, that's ideal, but ऐसा तो होता नहीं actually. So, I think it's important that as soon as possible realize that you can't possibly be everything. You may be a great product person, you may be a great marketer, you may be a great finance person, but you can't possibly be all of them. It's not a wise thing. So the idea of having a team as soon as possible, at least 2 or 3 different heads to argue, to discuss and have different skills, I think is something we should look at sooner rather than later.
No, ma'am, if you have to go with a team, if you would like to scale your business, scale is such a thing which is not possible with one candidate.
Right.
As Vasudev sir said, this is very much right that you are coming from a one background. Matlab either you are a good understanding of the product, or you are a good business guy, or you have the good capacity of being into financial space. But end of the day, you have to be a team. Without team, getting investment and making it onto a larger scale is very tough.
Fair enough. I think one of the sharks though pointed out that when you're a founder, you have to be 80 of everything. You can't be a 0 of anything. So what is that diverse set of qualities that essentially makes a good entrepreneur?
Well, certainly, passion, which I'm told is somewhat overrated, I agree, but it is also infectious. The ability to motivate people about a dream and collect people to share in the dream is really not everybody's cup of tea. We see that. Some people are very hyper, some people are overpowered. Yes, at those times they may not appear to be thinking coolly, but that initial part is definitely important, that you were able to articulate the vision ki ye product se, ye service se kya hone wala hai, the great thing that's going to happen. There's no doubt, but he should also have another side of him which says just passion alone is not going to work, which is what we talked about. So he has to know, I agree, a little bit of everything. And maybe at least 2 or 3 things he must know really deep. For example, let's say the manufacturing process, he should really know thoroughly. He certainly should know about the financials, and he should accept ki mere ko pata nahi hai, and therefore what should I do about that?
So we were talking about this very fun and interesting startup that came up with amazing amount of energy, I think, from the founder, called Tiggle, right? In the space of chocolate drink. So interestingly, I don't think any one of us ever thought ki chocolate drink ka India mein market banega. But would love to understand your opinions on it, sir.
Well, I don't necessarily think nobody thought of chocolate drinks. I mean, we thought of Bonvita. I don't know whether it's a chocolate drink, but I think it was a fantastic pitch. The lady's passion, but more importantly, her objectivity and intelligence came out really brilliantly. That she had thought through everything. She's anticipated everything. So I think it was just a very, very good pitch. The fact that she had done some market research, she had gone and done stuff. The way in which she described the whole thing was, in my opinion, a case study for how we should be looking at another D2C kind of a venture. So I liked it. My hats off to her. I think it was just a fun kind of a thing. And remember, I think she also talked about social media. I don't specifically remember. We can't ignore that today. Now, is the chocolate drink, is it a Indian kind of a phenomenon in all cities? I think it is because of social media. We all are developing certain kinds of global opinions, or we have access to information. In many ways, everywhere around the world is getting to a certain sameness while maintaining local traditions as well.
Sir, following up on the same chain of thought, I think a couple of sharks explicitly said that with this idea, they see stagnation after a couple of months, but they chose to invest in the idea because of the founder. And coming from a Rishihood background, we understand that maker's mindset is crucial for an entrepreneur, right? So would love to understand how this thought process aspect contributes into a making of a good, sharp entrepreneur.
Maybe the Shark Tanks are looking something else into the candidate, but it is at their judgment, and I appreciate that and respect their judgment, that whether they are looking that idea with the thought of the product or sometime from the perspective of the entrepreneur,
right,
the man behind the idea.
Yeah.
But I think it is fair enough कि वो जैसे उस business को evaluate करना चाहते हैं, it is their right to do that, and they are very experienced and seasoned candidate. If they are understanding something else into the candidate or into the product, it should be like that.
So this concept that we are seeing of backing the person more than the idea, what are your thoughts on it?
Even if, for instance, the market was supposed to be saturated, it won't go too far, but I think the bet was probably on the individual, as he said, right? Because if not this, then that person has the energy and acumen, agle bar, next entrepreneurship venture, that would be probably very successful in a different way. So I don't think there's anything wrong in betting on the person. I think it probably should. The business model, for example, may be weak or it may have something else, but if the drive and passion are convincing, then with a little bit of mentoring, I don't see why that's the whole point of the shark. The sharks are supposed to mentor these people and take care of the weak points and help them to grow. And this is, if not this business, certainly the next business. I think betting on the person, and that has also been talked about specifically, I can't remember which episode, I would bet on the person, not necessarily the business. It was explicitly mentioned somewhere.
Right.
So I would agree with him.
Yes. Interestingly, another startup came up with a very big competition sitting right there, which was AI Kavach. Helping people get protected against frauds, right? Interestingly, they had the first movers advantage, but one of the points that Sharks brought up was what is stopping Google from entering your area. They have better data, they have more people. So what is stopping them from entering this area?
Well, the fact of the matter is so many people have jumped on the AI bandwagon. And that itself makes it a little, we feel a bit skeptical about this. That if everyone's into AI all of a sudden, where was it all these years? Is it that nothing was happening? It's only from November 2022 when this chat GPT that everything exploded. So I feel that, in fact, this particular question was asked of one of those entries where they were trying to make an AI-powered cooking
appliance
machine, and it was not coming out of what is the AI-ness about it. So those questions are bound to be asked. There will be skeptics about about this, that it seems to be too good to be true. So I think overplaying the AI part has its own negatives because people are getting smarter. That is, everything, you're just putting AI in front of the product doesn't sell the product according to me.
So every founder basically needs to do self introspection कि मेरा पैशन और मेरा कोर और मेरा सैटिस्फैक्शन कहाँ लाई करता है
जी, क्योंकि कभी-कभी आइडिया के पीछे भागना ठीक हो सकता है, लेकिन हर बार एक आइडिया के पीछे भागना ठीक नहीं हो सकता.
करेक्ट.
आपको बहुत अच्छा आइडिया आ रहा है लेकिन आप उसके इम्प्लीमेंटेशन नहीं जानते. आपका जो अभी तक का एजुकेशन है, जो फैमिली बैकग्राउंड है, जो कल्चर है, जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, वो आपको अलाउ नहीं करता कि आप अपने उस आइडिया पे काम करो. तो फिर आपके लिए सब कुछ बाहर से जुटाना बहुत मुश्किल हो
जाएगा. एवरी एंटरप्रेन्योरियल जर्नी starts with reflecting who am I, what are my values, what do I want to create, why do I want to create it, and what are my strengths and weaknesses. Otherwise, the company will fall short somewhere at some point of time.
Very much
right. So I think closing this discussion from my side, over to the both of you. आप लोगों का favorite कौन सा startup था for this week at Shark Tank? Sir, आपसे start करते हैं.
I like the AI drone one very much. I could relate to it very very easily. I thought the potential was really huge. बहुत ही बड़ा था.
Right.
And the sincerity of these guys, as he was saying, they knew that stuff. They were very very clear. They had a huge vision. They had thought through it. They were able to defend their position very well. And I think there was a product. Beach mein I think there was a problem with one of those things. But that's okay. They had thought about it, and I think the potential for it, from what I could see, all the way it was going to be deployed, the possibilities was just enormous. So I like that particular one.
Right. What about you, sir?
I'll go for Goa Fendi.
Oh, interesting.
Goenchi. Very confident, very Indian, and has a great potential to be into all parts of the world.
Right. I think I would like to take a moment and mention another startup जो शायद मुझे काफी अच्छा लगा was We Hear You.
Oh yeah.
Which worked on hearing problems
right.
For people जिनको hearing loss है या फिर permanent hearing damage है कि they don't even have ears. I think काफी interesting use of technology that is existing.
Yes.
Combining with a very very interesting use case. I think.
And they started in a very unusual way, if you remember.
Yes.
And that it was just to create the tension, create
that disruption happened.
I thought it was fantastic.
Correct. I think
really
it was
nice.
a fantastic pitch. Thank you so much for your time, Ajay sir, Vasudev sir.
Sure.
It's been a great pleasure talking to you.
We had fun. We had lots of fun.
Same here.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Snigdha.
much. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir.